Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to a new episode of Soul Infused Business. Business. Yeah, it's business today. Soul Infused Monday. I love it. I'm so excited. I'm fired up, and I'm going to tell you in a second why I'm so fired up and why I'm so excited. Let me just close this window here real quick so that I don't get disturbed. Okay, so welcome. I am fired up for several reasons, and it's so funny that I actually said Soul Infused Business instead of Soul Infused Monday. So welcome to the Soul Infused Monday weekly show here on Facebook every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Kerstin, hello, Europe is in the house. I love it. So today we're going to talk about how to get out of overwhelm. I'm going to share with you a process that you can use. I'm going to use some of it with you today. And I just love how life always gives you what you need. And what I mean by that is today is Monday. I think everyone can relate to having a moment of overwhelm, having a day of overwhelm. Things on the to-do list. We get all over the place and think, oh my God. So, funny enough, what happened today, this Monday, is I had that moment myself. And I thought, how wonderful that life gives me exactly what I wanted to share with you today, because I experienced it myself, and what I'm going to teach you works, right? You actually do have to do it. So when I share the steps later, make sure you have something to write. So if you're just joining in, if you're just jumping on, if you are watching the replay, and welcome again, by the way, to the Soul Infused Monday show, and get something to write. Get a pen and a paper. Make sure you can make notes. And it's really about being practical and about taking action and not only listening, because the steps really work, but you have to do them, and you have to do them consistently so that they do really make a difference in your life. And please go ahead, leave me a comment below. Say hello. Tell me if you know a feeling of overwhelm. Can you relate to it? Do you have any specific questions? And do that, and I see that here on the side on my screen. That's pretty cool. And I do have a few notes for myself so that I don't forget anything, because I want to give you value today. So if I glance over here for a moment, it's because I'm checking my notes. Sonia, hey! Welcome, Sonia. So, are you ready to get out of overwhelm? But before we go there, I want to talk a little bit about what is overwhelm actually, also from an energetic perspective. Because when we understand more what we are struggling with, it's way easier to deal with it. And it makes then also more sense on not judging yourself for it so much. Okay, because often the overwhelmed feeling is not necessarily the worst, is how we deal with it. Because let's be real, we are going to be human beings on this world. Like, overwhelm is just a part of our lives sometimes, especially with the new technology. We are constantly on somewhere, Facebook, emails, on our phones. So having said that, take a moment right now. Take a breath and get rid of distractions. What I mean by that, switch your phone off for the next 20 minutes. Close your emails for the next 20 minutes. Be totally present here with me in that energy so that you can truly absorb what we're going to talk today in depth. Okay? Eileen, hi Eileen, I'm so happy you're here. I love it. Okay, so take a nice deep breath, have something to write, and why that's so important. Overwhelm comes often from a place of being distracted, from being scattered, from kind of being all over the place. And when I use those words, that's actually what it does energetically. When we are overwhelmed, that means we are not centered. We are not clear. And we are generally not relaxed. So when we get overwhelmed, our energy starts to spin. We go outside of ourselves, and we are all over the place, so we lose focus. Okay? And when we do that, it's difficult actually to be effective, to be efficient. And what often happens when we get overwhelmed is we are either in a fight or flight response. So either you go in overdoing and you feel like you're so under pressure and you have such a huge to-do list and you don't know how to do it, or you get into a flight response, meaning you might feel paralyzed, you might feel stuck, you might feel, oh my God, it's just too much, I can't do it. So let me know real quick, leave me a comment below. What's your common pattern when you feel overwhelmed? Do you go into, I'm not getting anything done, more a paralyzed state? Or do you get in an overspun, oh my God, I have to do. So just share with me here real quick. So if I know where you at, I can also even be more specific in my teaching today. And it doesn't really matter for the steps that I'm going to share with you. However, when you know how you react, you learn something about yourself, and it will be easier for you to come back to center, to come back to a place where you can actually make a conscious choice. Because when we feel overwhelmed, we don't see clear, if I'm honest. Okay, so Christy, great advice. And my common pattern is to break it all down into baby steps that are so long that come positive to make it a great thing. Great. Otherwise, I get paralyzed. Yes. Okay. That's a great point, and it's part of the steps. So let me share with you what you can do as the first step. I'm going to give you 6 steps. The 5th one is nearly the most important one, but I want to, the steps before that are important to have an effective step number 5. Okay, so let me see. We'll say hi. Okay, great. When you feel overwhelmed, your energy system runs too fast. So the first thing you want to do is slow down and also accept. So the first step is actually, before you do anything else, is to just acknowledge how you're feeling. Nothing else. And the steps seem very simple, but they're very, very powerful. So the first moment when you catch yourself being overwhelmed, just stop for a moment and acknowledge that you're feeling that way. And it can be as simple as saying, I'm overwhelmed. That's okay. I'm just experiencing overwhelm right now. Okay. So that's the first step. And why is that important? Because awareness is always the key. Once you are aware of something, you can actually change something. You have the power to shift. Okay, does that make sense? Let me know. So number 1 step is to acknowledge how you feel without judgment. And that's important. So it's not about, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. What's wrong with me? I should have done this. I should have done that. You want to acknowledge that you're overwhelmed without judgment. Okay, so once you've done that, next step, super important step, is to breathe. And just breathe with me right now. Just breathe with me. Take a nice deep breath. And you will see, oh yeah, Sonia, this is so simple. Yeah, I know breathing is good. But it's doing it. Being present with your breath. So when you are overwhelmed, the second step you want to do is to breathe. And to breathe deeply, not just one shallow breath. You want to keep breathing until you feel that you are slowing down a little bit and that you are more relaxed in your body. And why is that so important? Because as long as you are in a spinning mode, as long as you are in that state of overwhelm, you cannot find a different solution. So you want to slow down your system. You want to take a deep breath. And you want to take another deep breath. And you can internally even say, I want to relax. I want to relax in my body. And you keep doing that until you feel the shift. It's very powerful. If you do it, if you really do it, you will feel the shift. Okay? So keep breathing until you feel a sense of ease, a sense of relaxation. Okay? That's step number 2. So let me check the comments here real quick. Definitely understand feeling that way today. Sonia, I understand. I'm sure you're not the only one who is feeling like this today. Anyone feels overwhelmed today? Just leave me a comment below. A super longest things to do. Yes. Okay, good. So if you feel that way, Sonia, and anyone else who's feeling like this, first acknowledge that you're overwhelmed. You have, put a lot on your plate. That's okay. Take a breath. And just relax. Okay? Then the third step is to get distance. And I'm going to share a little bit about what that means and how you can do that. When we are in it, we can't see clear. And as long as we are in it, in that energy, we don't see a different solution. So get distance means literally step out of the situation. Step out of your overwhelm. You can do that mentally, that you just internally imagine stepping out. You can do that physically. You can literally, when you stand here, when you sit and you're super overwhelmed, you get up and you just move somewhere else and you create distance. And energetically, that might take a little bit more work or more skill. And obviously, let me tell you something that's really important here also, that if you get overwhelmed on a consistent basis, or if it's something that you're really struggling with, there are underlying issues that are driving it in the first place. So you might have to do some more inner work, some clearing work, some energy work, some healing, whatever it needs to do. However, these steps, if you use them consistently, will make a huge difference. And it will take a little bit of time, and I really highly encourage you to just keep practicing them. Okay, so step number 3, get distance. And look at it from a different perspective, like from outside. Like if you would look at you from outside and think, oh, Sonia is over there having total meltdown, she's overwhelmed. She has such a huge to-do list. She's totally freaking out. And you look from outside and you take a breath. Usually what it does, you realize it's not such a big deal. And you do see a solution or a different way, a different perspective as when you are totally in it. Does that make sense? Let me know if this is helpful so far. I want to give you as much value, and I'm kind of like moving quick so that I get everything together here. Okay, so let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions and if this makes sense. Okay, great. So, let me recap. First, acknowledge your feelings. Number 2, breathe. And that's an important one. Stay on that step a little bit longer because that's the one that really will start to shift your energy. Number 3, get distance. Look at it from a different perspective, from a little bit from outside, and ask the question, hey, okay, so what's the solution here from that perspective? Okay, Sonia, absolutely helpful. Okay, great. So, number 4, and that's an important one, and I think it's also what Christy just mentioned with the little steps. Number 4 is once you've gone so far and you have a little bit more of clarity and you have a little bit more of centeredness, become very clear on your priorities. Overwhelm usually happens to us when we are not clear on what to do. When you have like 10 things to do, 20 or 5 or 100, and they're all over the place and you don't have a priority, you don't have clear structure, that's very easy for us to get into overwhelm. So step number 4 is to get really clear on your priority. and to look what's the one most important thing. Only one. Focus on one. What's the most important thing right now to focus on? And that alone, when you have that clarity and when you chose that one, that already relaxes your system. Okay? So if you are actually in overwhelm today, right now, here with me, and you've done the first 3 steps, in your 4th steps right now, or write it down, become clear on your priority. What is your priority? Maybe even only for the next hour. Break it down. Chunk it down. What's one thing? And write it down. One thing to focus. Get clear on a priority. I'm just curious here because I know some people are overwhelmed. Sonia, are you clear on your priority? Write it down. Do you need more help with it? Let me know. Otherwise, we're going to move forward. But to know clear, like really to have a clear idea of what you want to do helps extremely well with overwhelm. Okay? Great. Yes, absolutely helpful. Okay. Yes, doing it now. Okay, great. Doing it now. That's the best. So, once you are clear on your priority, step number 5, and that's a super important step. And this, by the way, everyone who's watching, this is not only for overwhelm. You can use this 6-step process for anything you're dealing with. Anxiety, stress, a feeling of stuckness, a negative emotion. You can use this for anything that you are dealing with on a daily basis where you feel like you want to have more centeredness, you want to have more clarity. So you can use this for anything that you experience in your daily life. Okay, great. Number 5, super important and so simple. Take action. Okay, take action. I'm going to talk about this a little bit because it makes a difference on how to do it, why to do it, and how to shift your energy. So, why is taking action so important? When we are overwhelmed and we are not clear, what happens very often is that we get internally like paralyzed. We get nothing done. And I'm going to be very transparent with you. I used to feel overwhelmed a lot. And I still, it still happens. It's not that it's gone forever. However, in the past, I'm going to really share openly how bad it was when I was overwhelmed and what I was doing. When I was totally overwhelmed and I was so stuck in it, I was so paralyzed that I did not get anything done and I avoided everything. And I rather was playing on my phone a stupid game that I was then addicted to when I was overwhelmed. Or I was overeating, stuffing myself to try to kind of like cope with it. Or I was binge watching on Netflix. And to be really honest, I had days where I was, I had days of this. And it was extremely painful because there was a lot of judgment and shame around doing these things. And of course, I was hiding them because shame always wants to hide. And it's good to also recognize what are your hiding mechanisms, the ones that are actually not working for us. Because to be honest, it didn't really help. It didn't make me feel better. It did make me feel worse. So, and I'm curious, like if you're open to share, when we share, we really, reveal, and revealing is always healing. What are some of the things that you do when you are kind of like in that overwhelmed state, in that flight and fight mode, when you get paralyzed and you really don't want to deal with it? What are your mechanisms? What do you do? So I shared a few of mine, and I'd be curious to hear. And I'm going to check as well real quick the comments and see if you have any questions. Okay. And guys, if this is helpful, if this is valuable, if you think this can make a difference in someone else's life, please hit the share button and share it on your wall or tag a friend that you know will really benefit from it. keep sharing this so that we can create even a bigger movement all together, because we are really all in the same boat. And we all need support and simple things, simple tools that we can implement on a daily basis that makes a huge difference in our life. So if you find this valuable, click a little love, click a little like, and click the share button so that others can benefit from it as well. Okay, so number 5, take action. And here's one thing about the taking action. It doesn't really matter if you take action with something very clear and effective. The most important thing is that you want to move. You want to do something. You want to take action. It can be that you're very clear on, okay, I had this. I was overwhelmed. This is the one thing I want to focus on in the next hour. And then you take action. But if you're not clear, do something completely different. The most important piece is to break out of that state of stuckness, of that state of overwhelm. It can be as simple as putting a song on, a music, and dance. It can be as simple as standing up, move 3 steps, and come back. Like, we overcomplicate things all the time. Keep it simple. Move. Do 5 push-ups. I don't even know if I can do 5 push-ups. Well, doesn't matter. Do whatever it takes for you to break out of that stuckness. Hi, Debbie. I'm here, but cannot get your live show. You are frozen on my screen. Oh, I'm very sorry, Debbie. That has to be maybe with your internet connection or something. And I will send the replay link later as well, so you can watch it. So I hope you can see some of it. Eileen, love. Thank you, Eileen, for your love. Okay, so let's recap here. Number 1, acknowledge your feeling. Number 2, breathe. Number 3, get distance. Number 4, get clear on your priorities. Number 5, take action. Action, action, action. Do something. Anything. Anything is better than staying stuck in your overwhelm. So what's number 6? Number 6 is to celebrate. And hey, before you kind of dismiss it and think, yeah, sure, celebrate. No, this is super important. And here's why. We are generally very good in dismissing ourselves, in judging ourselves, in not acknowledging our accomplishments. At least that's what I used to do, and a lot of people still struggle with that. Let me know, do you still struggle with that? Do you struggle with, self-judgment or not feeling really proud of yourself? So the celebration piece is very, very important, because it gives you also a sense of acknowledgement of the willingness, the commitment, the being able to take action. So really take a moment to celebrate the simple fact that you maybe even just tried to get out of overwhelm. You don't only get to celebrate the big accomplishments or when we think we've done something so great. The simple fact, actually, that you're watching this right now, that you're willing to take the time, that you are committed to do something to make you feel better, to hold the space with a group who has a higher frequency. This all is amazing, and you should celebrate yourself for it. And maybe you even got out of overwhelm. You took action on something that you were avoiding. Celebrate is very important. I want you to write that down as step number 6. Okay? If you have not done that yet, get a pen and a paper. I'm going to repeat the steps. And I don't want you to only write it down. I really want you to implement it, because that makes a difference. Let me hear real quick. I completely relate, Sonia. Played Candy Crush until it became an addiction. Got lost in TV for hours on end. Also extra food and snacking, all to escape, disconnect, and avoid. Sonia, thank you for sharing that. Totally. And I'm sure that that other people can relate to it. And if you dare to share with us openly, share with us. Can you relate? What are your things? And for the longest time, to be honest, I was so ashamed that I was playing on this stupid game. I don't remember the name anymore. Jewel something. I don't know. But I'm sharing this also because we're humans. Like, we do stuff like that and we grow. And the difference now, the freedom, the freedom that I have compared is, well, I don't play that game anymore at all. But it took quite a while. I reduced it, then I get back to that. When I was overwhelmed, I get back to that. But I was so ashamed of it. It's like, me, how can I do that? I should know better with everything I do and everything. And at the same time, when you use it as a learning and as a healing, it expands you. And maybe in the past it was, for a couple of days, and if you know my story, like I suffered from severe depression. I might have been in a state like this for months. Like, no joke. So the inner work, the peeling off those layers and really get to know and love yourself makes all the difference. And if I do have a moment of overwhelm, it might be a moment. It might be 10 minutes. Maybe it's an hour. Let it be a day. That hasn't happened in a long, long time. However, that time that you are busy with staying stuck, you will have available to enjoy your life, to enjoy yourself, to be creative, to be inspired, to make a difference in other people's lives. Because you have a different energy. You have a different vibration. So it's not necessarily about never being in overwhelm or never feeling something that's uncomfortable, because that's how we grow. It's part of our existence. There's nothing bad with it. What's bad is that we stay stuck and in judgment and shame. And then when you do that, you open up, you have so much, it's so much more joy. It's so worth it. Okay, hey Judy. Yes, I was on the computer and binge watching. Thank you for sharing. I totally appreciate your honesty and you daring. I tell you what, guys, when you dare to share a comment, it does two things. For yourself, because it's an overcoming. It's a stepping up. It's a showing up. And even more important, and you might not know this, maybe you do, but even more important, it helps others. It does, because we are all connected. And when we reveal our struggle and when we are honest and transparent, we really invite others to do the same. And we create a safe environment. Does that make sense? So I really highly encourage you to share, to show up, to let me see you. If I see you and you write a question or you write a comment, you will get more attention, because otherwise I don't know they're here. Okay? Makes sense? All right. Yes, it's all about shifting the energy. Yes, Eileen, absolute. Connection sucks today, but the main topic I got. Okay, Kerstin. You can check the replay later. So guys, for anyone who's having trouble seeing this correctly, or your internet connection is not so great, I'm sorry about that. There's really nothing I can do, and you can come back later. Okay, good. Do you have any specific question about this right now? Leave it down here as a comment. Any questions? I still have. Oh no, I don't have time. Okay. I thought I still have time, but time was flying. So actually, this was amazing. Oh my God, I can't believe that 30 minutes are already over. This is when you have fun. I enjoyed it from the bottom of my heart to spend the time here with you today. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you got value out of this. If you did, please leave me a comment below and share it. Tag your friends. Help me spread the word so that more of us can really shine, can peel the layers off, to be the beautiful you that you are, and to express yourself authentically, beautifully, and powerfully. Thank you so much for having been here. Join me next Monday, again at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, for a next episode of Soul Infused Monday. Much love to you. Much, much love. Have a fantastic Monday and a great start to your week. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Kerstin, Sonia. Wonderful. Mwah. Bye.